Okay, so I want to give you guys two quick stories. One is something that I heard firsthand, and the other is what you're seeing right now on the screen, which is a police cam video. Um, both stories are very similar, and the reason why I want to talk about this is because I am someone who does believe in the black pill. And when people say that it never even began, these two stories that I'm about to tell you explain exactly that. Okay. So the first one, I'm just going to go with this one in the screen. So apparently we have a situation, right, where this 14-year-old girl was having sex with someone who she thought was also a teenager, right? Her boyfriend for 4 years. Um, and turns out right now he's 26, 4 years later. So she's about 18. Um, and he's 26, meaning that when she was 14, he was what, 22? And the way that they first met was through Snapchat. Um, and a quick little side note, I don't know why this memory sticks out, but apparently I've overheard a lot of women talking about how they would knowingly try to hit on older men in Club Penguin, or they would somehow through what was it, MySpace or Facebook, where the fuck they would have text messaging or phone conversation, where the fuck, and they would be like, "Oh, let's meet up at the park," and they would laugh because obviously they're not going to go through with it. But the point is that a lot of these women are really creepy. They're perverted. The simple fact that you find amusement from being in such a close proximity to these pedophiles, to older guys, right? It's so fucking cringe. And going back to this story, right? So she's out here, calling the cops. The guy next to her is her dad, and obviously she's the cop is new to all this, gathering information, asking a bunch of questions, and he's kind of like trying to set out a rough outline of the sequence of events, right? A timeline to get this guy. Which, sorry if it took me this long to say it, right? But obviously the guy is a fucking weirdo. He's a pedophile. He should be locked up forever. Um, no excuses on that side. But what I am saying is the following, right? Is this girl was 14. I don't know about you guys, but when I was 14, and even younger, I go as far as saying 9, 10, 11. This thing that these women are doing, where they're going on Snapchat and talking to guys, I knew better back then, right? And so I had, as a man, I had accountability. I've never done any of this stuff. I'm too old anyway. But even at my age, in my mid 30s, I don't just go out and talk to women through Snapchat and just um, take their word for the things that they tell me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, and and to be clear, I'm not saying that at the age of 14 that she should be able to be a detective and ask the guy to show him, I don't know, any kind of school identification. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is, why the fuck are you even messaging dudes? Why are you having sex at 14? And you might be thinking, oh, some of these women, they're just thoughts. They're just sluts. It's not all of them. There's what you guys have to understand is it's literally 90 to 95% of the women out there. I was in a kind of small high school. Well, back when I was in high school, it was smaller. Now we have a population increase, but it was one of those nice schools. There weren't any troublemakers. You know, it was average, right? Um, and I just remember going to this honors class, government politics, and there was these Asian and Indian girls who you think, oh, they're so studious, they're, you know, honors and they're high achievers and all that. These hoes will go during lunch or after school, go into the back of their boyfriend's cars and get cracked. So what I'm saying is that and the funny part is it's just like some random guys, while at the same time the dudes who she's asking for help, let's say, you know, to group studies, and the guys she keeps in the friend zone, those are the guys who are actually trying to commit to her, trying to treat her right. But no, these women, they always go to the side, and they have dudes on rotation that you know, that don't contribute anything, don't need to take her on dates, don't need to listen to her emotional dumping and her crazy episodes and all that shit, but they get the free pussy. You know, it's all laid out to them for free. So going back to what I'm saying in this fucking video is that she's out here. It's funny because, like I said, the police officer is writing down certain details that are important for the case, you know, just preliminary to get started. And the dude's like, okay, how many times have you had sex? And she's like, over 20. Was it vaginal? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, was it anal? And she's like, yeah, a couple times. And she's like, oral too. Like, just imagine you're the dad listening to this shit, like, and he's like, was it at your place? And she's like, yeah, my place and his parents' place. So what I'm trying to say in all this is that it never even began. It's over. If you are a righteous dude, if you're not a fucking pedophile, if you're not a creep, if you genuinely respect women, if you're genuinely a nice guy, a good person overall, we're well-rounded. I'm not saying you're a good man, a good masculine energy. No, a good person, period. Whatever gender you may be. If that's who you are, if you're stable, women will never get with you. They don't like you. They want the weirdos. They want the perverts. They want the bums. Right? So it never even began. You don't even have a fucking choice. The only reason why you're any one of these things that I've listed, and you have a wife and you have a girlfriend, is because she already got ran through and she's thinking about a retirement plan. That's it. So anyway, the what was I gonna mention? Fuck. About this case. Because yeah, she's getting into in all these details, and then she mentions, right, how fuck, I lost it again. Fuck, sorry. Oh yeah, she talks about how they were on and off, right? And that he was also engaging with other minors currently, right? So at 26, he's engaging with other minors. He is part of the friend group and all that shit. And there's your answer. The only freaking reason, okay, this is how fucked up all of this is, right? This is how it never even began. That's how over it is, right? The only reason why this girl is reporting this dude is because she got cheated on. That's the only reason. She doesn't care about the age gap. She doesn't care that he's a bum. She doesn't care that he might be toxic or, you know, all this shit. All these other red flags. She doesn't care about any of that shit. She only cares for the fact that she got cheated on. That's it. That's all they fucking care about. They don't care what Chad and Tyrone want. Chad and Tyrone gets. So it's just so brutal. Like I go back into my my I mean early 20s, yeah, early 20s, late teenage years. And I'm just reminding myself like how brutally over it was. And I back then I was aware, but I just didn't know how fucking over it was. It's fucking crazy. Now, obviously, this is a what is it? This is an extraordinary case. You could call it that, right? So I want to talk about the second story real quick. Actually, before that, there's also another piece of information that was kind of funny to me. So the cop is like, yeah, let's not arouse suspicions, cause they're still kind of talking, right? The girl and the fucking pedo dude, and he doesn't know that she called the police. So they're kind of setting up a trap, right? So basically they're like, okay, turn off your location in Snapchat, um, so you know you're not in danger, and also block any of the friends in that group that might be in contact with you. You know what I'm saying? That could help him out to tell you where you are, what you're doing, or all that stuff. And she was like, wait, what? Do I have to? Something like that, right? What I'm trying to say is that she wanted the drama. You know, she wanted to let her other friends get in on it. This is all theatrical. She's not in danger. She doesn't care about the age gap or any of that cringe shit. Which she should. But what I'm saying is, like, she was so invested in the drama. She wanted her other girlfriends um, to know about this. Like all of this is attention to these women. All right, to the other story real quick. It's not as interesting. Um, so I remember hooking up with this person, and she was talking about how she has this. Well, she's divorced, and there's this when she was younger in high school, she would date this guy, which later turned out to be came to be her husband. But when they were dating in high school, they were on and off. And from the very beginning, this guy was in this, like, they were in a polyamorous relationship, right? Obviously, back then they didn't know the language for it, but that's what was happening. They were on and off because the dude kept cheating on her and being with other people, and it happened throughout the entire marriage, right? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, um, that's a dead giveaway. This is the life that if you want to get a woman in the United States, you have to be a demon. You have to be a douchebag. You have to be a cunt, a bitch. You have to be a bad person. That's the only way that these American women are attracted to you, right? Treat her like trash, cheat on her. You know what I'm saying? Gaslight, all that shit. And I'm just, standing there listening to this dumb bitch, divorced, uh, and I'm like, I'm like, I'm over here, the only sane person. I'm the victim. That's what I was thinking. I'm the fucking victim because I'm surrounded by animals. I'm surrounded by all of the leftovers of Chad and Tyrone. That's all we have. When I talk about it never even began, is you don't have options. There are no women left in the United States of America. Not a single woman left. It's only leftovers. It's only ran through sluts. And it's, I try not to delve too deep into this, because the more you uncover, right, the more that you are aware of all these things, it will drive you fucking crazy. you know. Um, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I got nothing else. I'm out of here.